as well. Paula Martin is the Executive Director of the New South Wales Tourism Industry Council and joins me now. Paula, many thanks for your time today. These numbers obviously are encouraging. It's back to 80% of pre-COVID level. But what about the industry itself? Is it coping with these new numbers, especially in the wake of what have been staff shortages for them?
Well, the good news is that from an international perspective, we are seeing visitation come from countries like the UK, New Zealand, the US, and we're also seeing countries like India also surpass pre-pandemic visitation levels. And part of that international visitation, which we're very, very happy about, is that they're coming for leisure purposes versus coming to visit friends and family. So that's good news for the tourism industry, because it means now that we can go back to doing what we do best, which is welcoming our visitors both internationally and domestically with open arms and really showcase the wonderful endowments that we as a country have, but also showcase the great Aussie customer service. However, there are challenges that we're seeing. We need to remember that the tourism industry is largely made up of a small business sector, and those small businesses are suffering challenges like other industries, such as labour shortages. And of course, when we look at international students and we look at skilled migrants coming into the country, we are looking at other challenges, such as the housing shortages community.
I was going to ask you about that because I was wondering whether the return of the students and indeed the return of, sort of more migrants back to those levels pre-COVID, whether that is taking any of the pressure of some of the tourism operators here in Australia trying to find staff.
So businesses are telling me, it's a really interesting story. They say that they're suffering from long COVID. So this is where, on the surface of it, it's great to see these visitors come back. But we need to remember that they are still rebuilding from the COVID pandemic, and we're going to see that effect for quite some time, particularly with the economic environment being as volatile as it is. So skilled workers and students are very, very welcome. They're helping us to plug a gap. But it is just plugging a gap. We do need to continue to look at more longer-term programs and initiatives to help our small business community to really cope with being able to cope with the increase of international visitation.
And just quickly, is there any view that there is any rebuilding of infrastructure? I mean, quite clearly with COVID years and the lack of tourists, the lack of money, it meant that there was almost no investment put into new development. Is there anything going on to bring new attractions to Australia?
So we know that large tourism attractions like Vivid in Sydney, for example, are a massive drawcard for both the domestic economy as well as international visitors. But we need to continue to focus on expanding those large-scale events out into regional Australia.
Yeah, Paula Martin, Executive Director of the New South Wales Tourism Industry Council.